Hey everybody, this is Darwin Reina, the Festival Director Hospitalet Llobregat International Film Festival in Barcelona, right next to Barcelona. Today we have a great filmmaker. She did this great film that is on our festival. We really love it. I'm going to tell you more about that soon, Sonia. So the name of the film, let me see if I can pronounce it good. If not, I'm going to tell you to pronounce it. So Hatshepsut.
Excellent.
Yeah?
It's great. Awesome.
How are you, Sonia?
I'm very good. It's early morning here in Los Angeles, but I'm good. I'm good.
Nice. We're very happy to have you. I'm very interested to ask you many questions about your film because it's really well done. Cinematography is lovely, those warm colors. Let's start with the story. First of all, where did you get this story from? I gotta guess, but I want you to hear. And who wrote this story? Do you write it or somebody else? How was that process?
Okay, so the process was 3 writers. The 3 of them came together 9 years ago and they wrote a feature. Now, I met Mr. Nazari a couple of years ago and he told me he'd written this film. I read some pages, some more pages. In a day, I read all 108 pages. I was blown away. And I decided as a female filmmaker to recompose a short in order to shop the film because I do want to make the feature.
Let's go to the pre-production. I mean, the film is wonderful, Sonia. Congratulations again. Yeah, it's really well done. How was the pre-production process? Because it seems like it was a really good pre-production, right? Because you can see in the production that is. How was that? How long was that? You guys, the storyboard. Charlie, tell us a little bit about that background.
I probably spent 7 months on pre-production because I was working on a budget and I had to do some fundraising. But as part of that fundraising, I was always thinking, how am I going to get the film made? How am I going to get the film made? So every costume chosen, how I made the costumes, how I had them produced, because I designed 98% of the costumes. I had 2 fashion designers. One's from Madrid. His name is Francisco Sayas. And he designed 2 pieces, and then I had another lady do a little bit on a few other pieces. I designed everything else, and I took them to my tailor from Guatemala, who lives here in LA, and he created them. I was like, here's the pictures, here's the material, go, you know.
Wow.
And everything took time. So I took the time to see how I could save money.
How is to work with the cinematographer of that top, because he's really good. He got all your ideas. He really put into the frame. Yeah.
His name is Will Turner. And one day on set, I'll never forget, I said to him, Will, I just love everything about your space. And he goes, my father said, walk with a big stick, but walk softly. And he communicates that on set. There was a day when somebody kept sitting on the lens box and he goes, this is the last time I'm going to say it. Next time I'm going to do blah, you know? And it was just like the cadence, his entire mantra in helping me produce the film I wanted was out of this world, soft, like the colors in the film. I remember when we were doing the shot list and we were going over the types of shots and the equipment that he was going to need, because he brought his own equipment, which saved money as a filmmaker and was like amazing. But more importantly, there were a few things he needed that were non-negotiable. And he goes, this is my wish list. Do you think we can get these things? And I was like, absolutely. Those were the filters that allowed us to see what we saw on film, because I gave him like the style of the film that I wanted. I didn't know what I was asking for. This is what I wanted. And he produced and presented it. And for me, that was like outrageous because I was very sad.
Let's go to the post-production. I guess also the post-production was hectic, right? I can tell. So I guess you end up with you end up with so much footage. I have 2 questions. Yeah. How do you work with the editor? And how was when you saw the first assembly? Were you scared, like, oh no, or you were happy with the first? Because the first assembly is always painful for all of us, right?
Totally.
Well, so tell me.
There were a few things that happened on our assembly because we had an editor on site. who
very good.
mostly a documentarian. But the scenes, you know, what I saw of the dailies, I was very satisfied. But when I saw assembly, it was not our vision of the film, mine and my husband's as the producers. So what we did is we had a screening. We live in a community in Playa Vista where we have a screening room. So I did 3 screenings of the film in the course of one day to get input and educate my public. And what I found is I needed to do a new cut. So I had to hire a new editor who understood the storyline. It took about 10 days for him to prepare everything because it was in a different compilation. And so after that, then as I saw the cuts, yes, then I was on the same page.
Yeah, wow, amazing. What about the music, Sonia? How do you decide the music? Do you had it in your mind before when you were reading the script, or that's something developing during the post-production? How was that?
I did know, I knew in my head
nice.
the style of music I wanted. And as you see the dancer, her music was specially created by another dancer who also does music out of Chicago. And he also portrayed our Tutmosis III in the film. And so really interesting, because I asked her to create a choreography piece that I could insert in the film, or help me with developing the process early on in pre-production. And when I heard that, I was like, click. And so he created some pieces. And then it just so happened that our dialect coach also does jazz music. So she created some music, and then we created the merge of the music. And it ended up being all original work, spectacular music, befitting of the film, in my opinion, and the time period.
Yeah, definitely. So let's say this, Sonia. Let me ask you one more. I have more questions. How do you decide what's the final cut? Do you, I mean, with your husband, you watch it together, or you get feedback after everything is done, the final locked, and get another feedback again, and then decide yourself? How was that process to really say now is done?
Our process was very interesting because we basically did 2 cuts when all was said and done. And the first cut, I needed to know what was going on with my story. I did not do a big survey on the second cut, but we did survey key producers so that they were involved. But it was mainly my husband and I. I mean, I knew what I wanted, and everything I wanted was in there. And so everything else, my husband was very adamant about making sure the story was true to the screen. The other co-writers on the short were also involved. And I brought the biggest funders of the film because we had some very good friends to at least have an opinion or a say over what they saw on the screen. So it was a very hodgepodge, like not very planned, but it was almost a respectful. I felt like I was keeping respectful to the story, to the honoring Hatshepsut as the pharaoh that she was during her time, taking Egypt to a golden age. They fought one war during her reign of over 2 decades. I felt it was important that whatever that message I did in a short film had to communicate how special this female was, because I wanted it to empower other females. It's our climate now, is women empowering women. So, you know, I made sure that I got enough feedback on making sure that message was true to the story. So
nice. Sonia, what do you think? I mean, after this film, now you have definitely experience to tell me, which is the most difficult phase in filmmaking? Pre-production, production, or post-production, in your point of view? Everything is difficult in filmmaking. We know that, but which is the most difficult for you in your perspective?
I think because I know so little about it and I haven't done it enough times, I think the post-production is truly the most difficult, because it is a whole filmmaking process in itself. It's like basically you're making a film. You may have shot all these shots, but they could be junk. And then you have to turn them into something spectacular. I mean, just to give you some idea, I did another film entitled History Talks, Real Women Tell Their Stories. It's a documentary about women with fibroids and how a lot of women are having hysterectomies. And there's a million remedies. I did an amazing film. I did 0 post. Film is distributed. Why? Because it's a doc. It's a different raw film. But at the time or afforded the luxury, I would have done post. And I did as little post as I could afford. Moving forward, what I've learned is you have to allocate for post. It's part of the process. So you can do a short film, or you can do any film, and your budget is blah. Well, your budget needs to include a proper post. Otherwise, you're not going to have the film you want. And that's the bottom line. Yeah,
that's true. Now that you mentioned that, how much did the story change from the script to the post? Did it change? You guys flip scenes, or really was how it was in the script?
I think.
Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, we had to flip a little bit. There was a little flipping between the when Hatshepsut starts diminishing, you know, her health starts diminishing. We had to flip it around a little bit because it just didn't make sense. We didn't have time to do a couple of shots, and so we had to just adjust it a little bit. There was a shot that was in one of the cuts, and I was just like, it just doesn't make sense. Take it out. And then when we took it out, it made more sense. And there was how the ending was intended. The ending was excellent. The ending, believe it or not, is my favorite part of the film. However, I had originally envisioned a specific reflection of the upside down dancer, and it just didn't make sense. Nobody would have understood it, so we had to end it the way we ended it. But I have a copy of it, and I look at it whenever I want.
Sonia, what do you want from the audience to feel after your movie is finished? We know each person is different, but singular for you. What's the thing you wanted to have?
What I want them to feel is that they've touched on a very important individual who ruled as a man and loved and lived as a woman. Not unlike today, how a woman maybe has to put on an armor of a male attitude or demeanor to try to get a product. Despite that, there's a real loving woman in there. And I have to say that I also want them to want more so that I can get a feature made. I want them hungry for a feature.
Nice, very nice. And my last question is you and Terry coming to Barcelona? Yes.
We are so coming. I'm in Barcelona already. I wish I could come to Barcelona now. The only problem is the pandemic. But yes, Terrence and I have every intention of coming. We have friends that are coming from Madrid. The woman who made our crown lives in Barcelona. One of our favorite cities in the world is Sitges, just south of Barcelona.
Yeah.
So I am so there.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Sonia. We are very excited to have you. That's for sure. So please tell Terry, okay? It's March, so March is doable. It seems like it's possible.
Be able to escape.
Yeah, and we have a big event, so it's very good for you as well. It's a lot of films from all over the place, so I think you're gonna like it. Sonia, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on your great work.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you appreciating our work. Definitely.
Say hi to Terry, okay?
Done
Thank you,
done.
Sonia. All right.